Hi, we're back. This is my friend Paul.
Nice to meet you.
He's
Hey.
he's surprisingly not one of my program friends. We've known each other since high school. One of a couple people who told me to just get into Marvel, and that's why I couldn't do this without him specifically.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if I did, because we had said we wanted to do this for Civil War.
Many years, actually. Right?
Yeah, for many years ago. We said we'd make it a thing with Civil War. Mm-hmm. That never happened. And the funny thing is, we spent class periods in high school just talking about Civil War is never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen.
Disney's never gonna get the X-Men back. But I mean, here we are.
I mean, still they haven't gotten X-Men
kind of.
yet.
They're not officially in there yet. But I mean, we just thought.
Caveats.
Yeah, there's still some hurdles to jump through, but I mean, we thought it would never happen in our
That's
lifetimes.
true. Hell, I never thought that Spider-Man would ever be in the MCU.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when we talked about this, it was still Andrew Garfield, and and I remember a couple years after that, my Amazing Spider-Man was on the TV, and then my brother said, "Isn't that the old one?" And I was like, "Oh my god!"
You know, on the topic of all the Spider-Man remakes, there was a tweet I saw the other day that 100% stand. It was me. If I could describe myself in a tweet, it was Spider-Man 2 wasn't as good as Spider-Man 2, but was way better than Spider-Man 2.
Oh my god, yeah.
Think about it, we're in the third Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, this is the third Spider-Man 2.
So how many is that in total then?
How many Spider-Man movies in total?
Yeah.
Are we gonna count Venom?
I wouldn't.
Okay, I wouldn't either. So that's the original Spider-Man, the original
Yes.
Spider-Man 2,
Yes.
the original 3,
Yeah.
Amazing 2.
Spider-Verse?
Yes, Spider-Verse.
Nice.
I was going in release order, but yeah, Spider-Verse counts.
Okay.
Homecoming and Far From Home.
Damn.
And that's not counting his appearances in Civil War, Infinity War, or Endgame. So yeah, there's a lot of Spider-Man. Since we are kind of late, we may get into all of that later on, but I just wanted to focus on Far From Home. Spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but I think it's been a good amount of time.
So we can talk freely about spoilers here. People won't click on it, won't flame me on the comment section.
Yeah. I'll probably put spoiler in the title or something. And I mean, it's been out for 2 or 3 weeks now. If they're getting spoiled, that's kind of on them at this point.
Weren't people getting mad at the trailers of this movie? They said, "Oh, this is a spoiler for Endgame." Right?
Yeah, they were, but I mean, at the same time, I thought they announced this a while ago. We knew this movie was coming, and I actually think the trailers did a pretty good job at keeping up, keeping everything in Endgame
Yeah.
because I noticed obviously they CGI'd his suit to be the Homecoming suit.
Yeah.
When it was the Iron Spider at the charity event, and then they also in the trailer. Avengers Tower was under construction, whereas in the movie, it had that atrium he flew through.
Dang. So there was a lot of stuff that hit.
Yeah, there was a lot of misdirects. I mean, the first trailer, it said, oh, this is going to be a fun, lighthearted movie.
Just like the first one.
Yeah. And then the Endgame came out, and then the second trailer was it hit us with that, oh, Tony's dead. Tony's dead, yeah.
Feels. Speaking of trailers real fast, before we segue the way you wanted to go, you know what I noticed that was missing from the movie that was in the trailer?
Was it him in that restaurant fighting that?
With the police guys saying
those police guys, and then
police guys,
and then him picking up the passport. That was also not in the trailer. I read that was gonna be on the bonus of the DVD Blu-ray or something.
Okay, so it's just a cut scene into the film.
Yeah,
because I remember that one line. I was like, oh, I need a vacation because I'm busy carrying
Yeah.
I like that part of the trailer.
Yeah, that was a really cool
part. I was
part.
looking for it, didn't show up. I understand stuff has to cut to make the time limit and stuff like that.
Yeah, I read there was another scene they cut where he sold off his Spider-Man figure, or not Spider-Man sold off his Star Wars figures.
His Spider-Man.
I was like, yeah. He sold off his Star Wars figures from Homecoming to be able to afford the trip. Which,
dang, that would have been pretty cool to see.
Yeah, because they haven't really touched upon the money thing with Spider-Man yet.
Because let's be honest, that's a totally Peter Parker-esque thing to do.
Yeah.
Him to pawn off all his things to afford, back in the day it was rent, because it's just Aunt May.
Yeah.
But obviously now Aunt May is hot and rich, so
But what else was I going to say?
what kind of segue are we going to have right now with this?
Let's just dig into it. Let's start off with things that didn't work, because I feel like just the conversations we had, there were not too many things that didn't work.
Yeah, but there were some.
There were some
here and there.
What did you think, first of all? You're the bigger Spider-Man fan, so let's hear from you.
Oh, man. But, so we're going to end on the positive, right? Should I start with nitpick? So when I nitpick pretty hard. And let me put it this way. They 100% nailed Peter Parker. And in Civil War, they nailed Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, I'm just like, I'm still waiting for that golden movie that has every single wisecrack in the book. Not like verbatim. But in Civil War, there is a scene where he's fighting Falcon and Winter Soldier. And then freaking Sam goes, there's not that much fighting. Or talking in a fight. That hit hard. I'm like, oh my god, they're going to do it. They're going to make Spider-Man just nothing but wisecracks, quips.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some in Homecoming, but in this one, it was just the tone was different. It's like how they tease that lightheartedness.
Mm-hmm.
They nailed Peter down 100%, and when we get into the positives, I'll go over why I feel that way. But I kind of wanted a little bit more from Spider-Man, a little bit more sarcasm, wit, dry humor that he's known to have.
Yeah.
It was a lot more of just like, oh man, this sucks. I can't do it. Man. And it's just, I don't know. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm portraying correctly to the audience what I'm trying to express over here, but...
I think kind of responding to that, I think the point of the MCU Spider-Man movies is to watch him grow into the Spider-Man we know. Because there were a lot of elements missing from Homecoming that were in this movie.
Yeah.
It was like, yes!
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
For me, one of my things about Homecoming versus Far From Home, in Homecoming I felt like the natural humor was all that teen drama, teen comedy stuff, and some of the Avengers universe stuff in Homecoming was like, oh, okay, you could kind of ease up on that. But it was the other way around in this movie for me. Like, I thought responding to Avengers Endgame and all that stuff, like, they nailed that.
That's true.
Some of the teen comedy stuff was like, oh, okay, you could have cut this one and it wouldn't hurt the movie all that much.
So what do you think of the humor then? I think that's the only other little nitpick I have.
It was pretty hit or miss, mostly hit.
Yeah.
For me, I thought, like, okay, maybe you could have cut, like, maybe one or two of the Ned and Betty jokes, but, like, it still kind of contributed to this movie's identity, and it was still pretty funny for the most part.
Do you ship them?
Not really.
No?
Because
I think it was just a runaway gag.
I think it was just a runaway gag.
For the whole movie? That's
probably.
one long gag.
Probably.
They were committed.
They were committed.
For
like, I give them props for that. Like, I don't hate that aspect of this movie. Like, the only reason I say I don't ship them is because it was very much that couple you knew in high school.
But we all knew that couple.
Oh, you and I both knew that.
We all knew.
I'm not gonna say. I think we're both pretty on the same page. I think our friends who went to high school.
Leave a comment down below if you know.
No, don't, no.
Because you know that couple.
If you know that couple, but if you know the couple that we knew, no, don't.
I can't believe it was Betty though, because it could have just been any other character, but they made it Betty.
Don't Ned and Betty have a history in their 616 counterparts?
Holy cow, you just blew my mind. I never put two together. That's Ned? How did I not that... I'm a fraud as a Spider-Man fan. I am a fraud as a Spider-Man fan.
To be fair, they did kind of switch things up a bit. He's more like Miles' friend than Ned is.
That's what I kind of felt like. Yeah. That was the vibe I was always getting off. Because in the comics, Ned's like a humongous rival. Like, Peter hates his guts. At least in the OG 60s. He was always a romance, I guess not ally, romantic, what's the name, what's the word for that, rival he had against Betty, because Ned wanted to marry Betty back in the 60s, and obviously Peter was still like all over her. This is way before Gwen Stacy, way before Mary Jane. But it's interesting to see that they poke a little fun, tongue-in-cheek kind of moment, because I didn't, in the first viewing, because I saw the movie, I think 3 times now. First viewing, I don't know why that escaped my mind, but you obviously were more like into it, that it was Ned and Betty. So I'm like, oh my god, that just blew my mind. That makes so much sense now. I'm surprised they added that in. I didn't know that. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Okay, but
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
I guess another one of my nitpicks is that his crush on MJ just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, he didn't really pay her that much mind in Homecoming.
And he just blipped away.
Yeah.
So was he conscious during the blip? Was he just there like, oh man, I'm never gonna see MJ again? Or like, you're right, where did the romantic feelings come from if he blipped away?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it might have happened because they say like something like 8 months has passed since
the blip.
since Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it happened within that 8 months, but I guess more build up to that would have been nice. But I mean, like again, it's nothing that like, oh, I hate the movie for this.
I still think the two are a really great dynamic.
Oh,
on par
absolutely.
with Andrew Garfield and
Yeah, absolutely.
they had a really good dynamic, very good chemistry with each other. But going on to the last nitpick, what the heck is a blip? Why did they name it? I mean, I guess that's the joke.
I thought
I like it,
I do
I
like
like
the, it's such a stupid name, but like it works
It
for
works
like
so
the
well.
lighthearted tone that they wanted to do in this movie.
And it answered all the questions none of us had. Like,
yeah.
do they stay old? Everyone else grows old? Like that poor teacher?
Oh, yeah. Like, and going kind of to the teacher and saying like, oh yeah, my wife faked her blip. Like, that's really funny, but then it also makes this universe feel bigger and lived in than, like, it just goes a long way in establishing
It feels real.
Yeah, it feels real. Like, that would have probably happened
That
to
guy
someone.
lost his wife to a fake blip.
Yeah.
Dang,
So, like,
man.
I'm just kind of picturing that. Did she pour out, like, a bag of sand and, like...
Get like a little fan to blow all the dust.
Yeah. And then the kid who, like, they knew as the kid who cried and, like, had nosebleeds, and now he was this hot, like, guy that everyone loved.
Dude, I actually know that kind of guy too. IRL. I know that kind of guy too.
Yeah.
They glow up, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
So, yeah. Yeah, and I guess we're kind of just transitioning into things we did like, because, again, our dislikes were just that short.
I know.
I really, like, one of the biggest laughs for me was that beginning, because, I mean, I was a high school news anchor, so...
this guy, he was in charge, and he always, like, co-starred.
I wouldn't say I was in charge, but...
He co-starred. You were in charge of the whole operation. I don't care what you say. In our high school, we had one of those live TV announcement broadcasts, too.
Yeah.
And he was the guy sitting delivering the news every single morning.
I've been told I was one of the few that could actually read. But, so, even just in Homecoming, seeing them the first time kind of monotonously, like, do you have a date to Homecoming? Like, I was just sinking in my seat, face-palming, like...
This guy was cringing.
Yeah.
Because it was so real.
I think the only thing we did not have was a green screen, because we had a painted set. But,
yeah, it was painted.
But, yeah, anytime these movies go into that, like, I hate how much I love it.
Because it's relatable.
Yeah.
Especially for you.
Yeah.
So the audience members are obviously like, ha ha ha, runaway gag, that's actually pretty clever writing. But you were like, oh no, it's not clever writing, that's real. All the awkwardness, all like the 10 students just reading off the scripts.
Yeah.
The stupidness of it.
Yeah, but I absolutely loved how in this movie it was used as a way to deliver exposition.
I know, because, okay, the one thing a lot of people don't realize with movies is the way they present exposition. Because let's be honest, no one really likes that much exposition just shoved down their throat.
Yeah.
And it's clever ways they deliver it that really sells a movie to me, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like what you're saying, the way they use that as exposition for people who need to be caught up. Let's be honest, very few people.
Yeah.
Everyone that goes initially are one of those hardcore fans. But to the uninvited, the people who are just jumping in for the first time, it was a really clever way to throw all necessary information at us so you can comprehend.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like walls of text. It was used in a modern day environment.
Yeah. And
it just made sense.
The fact that it was, because, I mean, news broadcasts in general are supposed to be made to be kind of digested and swallowed in that way. And to have, just to deliver exposition that way was really clever. But I really loved them actually showing the blip as it happened with, like, the marching band just fading away and then coming back in the middle of a basketball game. Like, oh my gosh.
Because again, it answered so many questions none of us had. When the blip originally happened, we're just like, oh man, I'm just depressed. They're gone.
I never thought I never thought I'd be laughing at it.
So how do they come back? Do they come back in the same place they were before?
Yeah.
So like it just answered all those questions. I don't know. Clever writing's clever. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a lot about the newscast, and then the way the guy was just like, "What's going on? Does anyone have any answers?" I feel like that just speaks for Marvel fans everywhere because because we don't know what's coming next. I mean, Comic-Con's coming up, but this is probably the first time since maybe Avengers 1 where like they haven't announced anything.
They haven't announced anything yet.
Yeah,
this was the end of the wave we're on right now.
Yeah,
and there's talks, but there's nothing definite right now.
Yeah,
they're being very quiet, which is surprisingly because let's be honest, Marvel tends to always like leak here and there. Yeah, what's going on.
There's been some talk like, oh, they're filming the Black Widow movie, and today they announced Taika Waititi is going to be back for Thor 4.
I saw that.
But Marvel has not come out and said, like, here's what we're doing. Kind of expecting that this weekend. Comic-Con is this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend. Heck, I mean, Tom Holland announced, he said there was like 3 more in the process, so we trust him. Ah.
Oh, you're MJ, not Gwen. No, don't fall.
Oh, man, too soon.
It's been like 5 years since that movie.
Too soon.
Okay.
But yeah, Tom Holland said there's like 3 more, so...
I actually heard something very interesting about that, because Tom Holland said that he had 6 movies contracted, but Kevin Feige said there were 5. So I heard... Maybe we can get into that later.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of keep it to the movie. I heard some rumblings, but again, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
What I did kind of jot down some things before you came.
Yeah.
So what did work? The exposition, I didn't even write that one down. Parker Luck, you said you kind of wanted to get back into that.
Oh my gosh, can I spiel?
Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
So, I think when I said earlier in the video, I said that they nailed Peter Parker for a long time. Growing up, I was that nerd, and it's stereotypical, it's pretty cliche, but that's life. You can't really do anything about it. One of my favorite things about the character in general is what's known as, what they describe as good old Parker luck, which is not necessarily bad luck, but let's be honest, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad luck. Bad luck with relationships, choices he has to make, overall circumstances that come his way. It's the definition of the character, in my opinion. And if very few people are able to tackle that, especially jumping from a comic medium to a film or cartoon. One of the cartoons that I really love is Spectacular Spider-Man. Shout out to that if you watched that. I know a lot of people like the 90s animated series, one of the OG ones. And some people like, I was going to say the other one, the one made by MTV, but I don't think anyone likes that one. What I'm trying to get at though is Spectacular Spider-Man nailed the Parker luck down to a T. That's what makes it like one of my favorite alternative Spider-Man mediums as a whole. And for the first time ever in a movie, because Sam Raimi's trilogy tried it, the Webb's trilogy, not trilogy, I guess Webb's 2 movies.
Yeah.
They didn't really try it at all. They mostly...
Yeah, I feel like in those movies he kind of got what he wanted sometimes.
Yeah.
He was more like a wish fulfillment icon than the everyman.
Yeah, the everyman that Sam Raimi tried to portray.
Yeah.
Even then, that got very cheesy really fast, especially when it aged. But for the first time ever, this movie really nailed it in the first... 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
You just see him trying his best to go for his master plan to woo MJ, for lack of better words. And just gain no luck with it. Everything he tried, something happened out of his control that ruins it. And he's like, oh man, this sucks. Because it does. And I think that's what nailed the perfect version of Peter Parker. And for the first time in 10 years, I was back as a little 10-year-old. I'm just like, holy cow, this is me being 10, thinking, oh man, I am Peter Parker. And I just haven't felt that way in a long, long time, and they nailed it in this movie. And I'm like, I stand. I love this movie's Peter Parker. Tom Holland did a really good job with that. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, he's, every appearance he's made since Civil War, I don't think he's ever had, a bad turn. Whenever I see criticism about any of his Spider-Man appearances, they're never about his ability. It's always about they didn't write him the way I expected.
Yeah. But this time they did.
Yeah.
That's what I really like. Because again, there's always that debacle of, oh, Sam Raimi's is the best, or no, Webb's is the best, or no, Now is the best. And there's people with like nostalgia, and they have good points to all of it.
Yeah.
But Sam Raimi's Parker Luck, and again, opinion only, gets pretty cheesy and hammy very fast. Heck, there's that one scene in OG Spider-Man 3 starts crying.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I mean, I guess Spider-Man could cry. Peter Parker cries.
Oh, that goes to another thing. Like, ever since Civil War is his only appearance where, like, this Peter Parker does not cry.
Mm-hmm.
So they made him cry once a movie. And, like, it's never, like, a really, like, oh my god, that's his crying face.
MJ, why you leave me? It gets very hammy very fast. But in this movie, the writing was so spectacular. So people always ask me who I think it portrays Spider-Man the best. And to each their own. Each has good elements to them. But for Parker Luck, it's definitely now, after watching this movie, Tom Holland. No questions asked.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked that scene when he goes to... Everything on the airplane, actually.
Yeah.
Just even, like, him saying, like, I want to sit with MJ. Ned, go, like, ask Betty if you can switch seats.
Yeah.
And then Ned says, like, oh, Peter's allergic to perfume. And the teacher gets up and he's like, what? And then he's like,
seriously?
MJ, you sit with Brad. Peter, you sit with me. Ned, you sit with Betty. And he's just kind of, like, looking over
Brad.
the whole time. Yeah.
But they wrote him so well for me to hate him.
Yeah.
Because I knew a Brad. I hate you, Brad. You know who I'm talking about.
I actually don't, but...
Good. That's for the best.
Yeah, probably for the best.
But it was so relatable, like, for, like, oh, I want to split, like, a aux cord split.
Yeah.
To watch a movie together. I'm like,
yeah.
Dude, that's so relatable. What year did they write this on? Right?
Yeah.
They actually related to kids... Well, at least related to this old fart perfectly, because I don't know. There's a lot of ways movies just play off different things, like kids still use iPods.
Oh yeah, where it's like, where like the writers are very much that guy. How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah, that guy. That's the kind of thing.
It
wasn't that way this time around. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and then I love the scene where he gets up to go to the bathroom, and then he opens a door, and then MJ's standing there, and he like shuts it, and then like cleans everything. Plays with his hair, then opens it, and then it's Brad.
He cleaned it all for Brad.
Yeah. What else? What else did I put on my list? So yeah, I think that kind of ties into character moments and character development. I think that was really good, this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, again, just seeing Peter grow kind of out of Iron Man's shadow.
Yeah, that was the big question of... Because we all knew it was going to happen, just we didn't know how it was going to happen.
So, yeah, and kind of growing out of his shadow kind of responded to everything that happened in Avengers Endgame. I have mixed feelings about the plane sequence when Happy plays Back in Black. It's a great nostalgic thing.
Yeah,
and like
good callback.
And like in the theater, the first time I saw it, I was like, yes!
And the whole theater popped off when that happened.
Yeah.
Everyone knew what that meant.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you're trying to say he's out of Iron Man's shadow, but
like
you do
playing it.
Yeah, so
yeah, I can see how that's a conflicting message.
But
right
again,
there.
it's not anything where I'm like, ruined the movie for me. But yeah, kind of going back to what I'm saying about him growing into becoming the Spider-Man we know and love.
Yes.
He getting the web slinging scene at the very end, that gave me chills.
See, the one thing I'll give the Amazing Spider-Man to, Webb's Spider-Man to, because let's just say it's my least favorite movie of all of them.
Yeah.
That's to put it nicely. The web slinging was actually really well done.
Yeah, like I love the opening in that movie.
Yeah. But this one, how it ended, you're right, with that one web slinging sequence.
Yeah.
It was also really well done.
And to get that added nostalgia, he swung by a lot of the significant Raimi locations.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I was like, was that the inside of the old Daily Bugle?
Yeah, dude. It was also a hark back to the OG Raimi Spider-Man.
Because they always ended
with MJ.
Yeah. He swung with
MJ, dude.
Yeah, and then not only that, but the first two end specifically with him swinging.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a nice like callback to that. And I guess even a really great foreshadowing to what happens in the post-credit scene. Yeah, the biggest Raimi callback.
Oof. Oh my gosh. We'll get to that later.
Okay. Well,
I mean, if you want to... right now.
I mean, that's one of the bigger things, so maybe we can get to that a little later.
Okay. Well, a Spider-Man can only be as good as a Spider-Man if he's up against a good villain. And there's so many good villains in the Spider-Man catalog.
Yeah.
And I think they 100% nailed Mysterio.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%.
I think this might be one of my favorite adaptations of a Spider-Man villain so far.
It's pretty high up.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say kind of up to par with Spider-Man 2's Doc Ock.
That was actually really good too.
Yeah.
Heck, OG Spider-Man Sandman was pretty, for what it was, outside comic continuity. Just the character itself, if it was a standalone, that OG Raimi Sandman was really good too.
Yeah.
Character development wise.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jake Gyllenhaal, man.
I think it says something that in every live-action Spider-Man appearance, like, they've always used a different villain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Amazing went back to Green Goblin, but that's just because Green Goblin's so iconic. But
Yeah, you kind of have to. At that point.
Yeah, I think Green Goblin is like Spider-Man's Joker, so to speak.
Yeah, it actually is.
But the fact that we've had it's been Green Goblin, Doc Ock,
Yeah.
Sandman and Venom,
Yes.
and then Lizard, then Electro, kind of Rhino and Green Goblin-ish.
Do I have to say yes to that? I don't want to say yes to that.
I'll let you slide on that one.
Okay,
And then going to Vulture and now Mysterio. And yeah, I don't even know where to begin with Mysterio, to be honest.
It's a mystery, right? That was not. No, I didn't do that pun on purpose.
What did I jot down on Mysterio? I guess my one nitpick is that he got his motive was revenge on Tony, because I mean we saw that with Vulture, and then we saw that with all of Tony's own villains.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know how else they could have done it. I think Barf was a really cool way to tie it back into the greater universe.
Yeah, that's true.
And I love that Barf is also in Peter's first appearance in this universe.
That's true too.
But I guess now he's truly a Spider-Man villain. And what do you want to comment about that?
Can we go on spoiler territory?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So what is his fate? Because a lot of people still are not very sure. So
that's been up for debate.
Do you think he survived?
Oh, he definitely survived. He's Mysterio.
You think he killed was like a robot or something like that?
I've seen a couple different guesses as to how
he pulled it off.
Yeah. One that I do like is that it could be a practical effect.
Yeah.
As a master of illusions,
he destroyed all the drones, though.
Well, I read about this last night too. If you look at the scientist's his computer as he's downloading it, it says there's a thing that says active drones, and it says something like 50.
No way.
So those were his personal drones, so not the Edith drones.
Dang.
Yeah. And his team is still at large. Yeah. So even if Quentin Beck is dead, Mysterio could still very much make an appearance, and I think that would be pretty easy to do, to have Jake Gyllenhaal come in and in a recording studio.
I guess that can be a nitpick. Why didn't he check the body? He just stood there staring at him.
He didn't check for a pulse. Yeah, he was like, Edith, is this real? And she just said all illusions are down, which probably meant that all the elemental illusions were down, for one. Those drones that belonged to the science guy from Iron Man 1 could have been projecting him. But yeah, there are so many ways they could bring him back. And I tell everybody who's seen the movie this, I personally hope they never confirm or deny if he's really alive or dead.
Just leave it there.
Yeah, just leave it there. Because I think that would be true Mysterio.
Yeah. And from now on, let's say in the future, if they happen to do a Sinister Six, or they happen to bring back the character, don't even say it's Beck. Always keep a mask. Heck, it could be like someone else that took the mantle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You'll never know if it's actually Quentin Beck or not. If they do it like that,
yeah.
That's how you know it's a true Mysterio kind of.
But yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal was amazing. Even that little bar scene, I remember Marielle said she thought it was kind of weird, but I liked that it was really that weird. It felt like 60s era Lee Ditko-ish. I've only read his first appearance, but yeah, that felt very much like that and in line with that.
Yeah.
And I said this coming out of the theater, they know how to do fan service right, because that whole thing calling back to Civil War and calling back to Iron Man 1, that was so much fan service.
Yeah.
But it served the plot really well, too.
It didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
You just wanted to put it in. It actually meant something.
Yeah, it meant
contributed to it.
Yeah.
Did you hear how Beck's character, or I guess Gyllenhaal's character Beck, was actually cameoed in the earlier scenes before he's even introduced.
Yes.
Did you see
that?
I
saw some of those like tweets last night.
Photos.
Yeah.
Because he was always watching Peter.
Yeah.
Because he always knew that he was going to end up with the glasses somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's really good writing. To like hark back to that even way before the audience knows what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't catch that my second viewing with my family, but I would like to go back and catch that again. But what was really fun about Mysterio is that in his introduction, when you see Nick Fury and Maria Hill come in and they fight the giant elemental, and he lands, my mom kind of leaned over and she went, "Is this a new superhero?" Because they've been like mixing and matching superheroes for the past like couple of years or so. She was like, "Is this a new superhero?" And I just kind of went, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun viewing experience."
I mean, okay, so to that, like, with spoilers, he's actually a villain. I guess to the people who are unaware to Marvel, it would appear that way.
Oh yeah.
But I was talking with my younger siblings, and my sister told me, I always knew he was a villain from the start, and I know nothing about comics. Oh. And I'm like, well, to be fair, that wasn't really what they were trying to, like, they weren't trying to blow your mind, Sixth Sense, by saying he was a villain. We all, somehow we all knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was just how he was going to do it. That's the thing. That was the mystery that I don't think anyone wanted to be spoiled.
Yeah.
Because if you were a comic fan, you automatically know who Quentin Beck was. You already know Mysterio, his shtick. His Gallery Row, one of Spider-Man's enemies, you know it's going to happen. Even if it's a different alternative timeline, it's bound to happen. But it wasn't really like, oh, I got spoiled, I know he's the bad guy. It's like more like, how is he pulling it off? And I think that's what was the spoiler territory. If you go into the movie not knowing how he was going to do it, I think that would give you a better experience than having the mentality, oh, I know that he is going to do it, but now it's how is he going to do it? How did Mysterio play off these illusions in the 21st century? Because back in the day, they said, oh, it was magic. But honestly, he was just not a street magician, just an actor.
Yeah.
With mist and projecting and holograms. But now in the 21st century, no longer in the 70s, no longer in the 60s, you think, how is this man going to do illusions now? Because it's set in not present day, New York, 2030, right?
Like 2023.
Yeah, 2023. It's like, how is he going to do it? Like, we're in the future, technically? Do holograms exist? I mean, technically they do. So how is he going to pull off these illusions? And I think using drones made the most sense. It was practical.
Along with the technology that they introduced, that they introduced as kind of like a little throwaway thing. I think the Russos tried to make us think that it was going to be important in Endgame, but then it ended up not being important. So we're like, okay, we're not going to see that ever again. And then to bring it back up again.
Language.
I was going to say something else too.
The first fight between the two, the first solid fight, where Spider-Man's just getting hit by illusions before he uses his spider sense. I thought that was really well done, especially with him getting hit by the train. That's actually a hark back to an OG comic and OG series. Like rewatching a Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm gonna bring up that show a lot. Just get used to that. One of his first introductions to the character Mysterio was he doesn't know what's real and what's an illusion, right?
Yeah.
And it ended with him getting hit by a train. And this was 10 years ago this episode came out. Yeah. And to see him get hit by a train again, I don't know, I liked it. That fight was one of the best choreographed. It could be CG, all you can say, it wasn't. It was very well done.
Yeah, the
on
visuals.
Levels of Doctor Strange, I think.
Yeah, the visuals were nice and trippy. It was, I don't know how to describe it. That scene.
Zombie Iron Man,
yeah. That scene was just a visual treat, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
On level with Doctor Strange. And, I'd love to play that and play something like that in the next Spider-Man PS4 game.
Oh, man. I don't know when that's coming out, because Spider-Man PS4 took so long to come out.
Yeah.
That's besides the point.
Yeah, besides the point, but... like, yeah, that was such a really cool scene to do.
I thought Uncle Ben was going to come out. That
Me
scene.
too. I really thought so too.
I thought that's how they finally are going to tie Uncle Ben.
That would have been a nice way to kind of tie it back in, because people have been wanting that.
Yeah.
I kind of get why they avoided it in the first one, but
Yeah.
then at this point it's like, come on, he's so important.
I don't know when are they going to bring it up. I'm just happy they finally were bringing back the classic Spider-Man elements that were absent from the first one.
Mhm.
Like Mr. J.K. Simmons himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of headcanoning it that since we didn't see JJ in Amazing Spider-Man, I'm just going to headcanon that J.K. Simmons is JJ across the multiverse.
Dude, he'd be the first one, right?
Yeah.
I think Ryan Reynolds is kind of going to be one too, right?
I think so,
Marvel said if
yeah.
they're bringing back Deadpool, they're going to make him Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. But J.K. Simmons is the first official one.
That's
because
true.
Ryan Reynolds has not
Take that,
appeared.
suck that, Reynolds.
Yeah, he's not appeared in any MCU movies yet.
He was in DC movies, right? Wasn't he Commissioner Gordon in Batman?
Oh yeah,
Right?
he was, but then Reynolds was also Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they're
Okay, you're
they're part
tied.
of it.
I'll give you
Yeah.
that, Reynolds. You're good.
They're tied from the studio hopping, but
Mhm.
like the alternate within the Marvel multiverse. Like
Yeah.
I think J.K. Simmons is the first one. I guess first like official one, because I've read that Lou Ferrigno, who played Hulk in the 70s, voiced Hulk in the first Avengers. So I
Yeah?
guess yeah.
Well, that's
so I
actually
guess
pretty cool.
I guess that one counts. I would count that one.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't
But
know
the
that.
first one to like have his likeness appear
Mhm.
multiple times, I guess, would be J.K. Simmons probably.
He was in the voice in the Spider-Verse cameo, right? No.
No.
But imagine.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, I don't know. Before we saw the movie, him and I were speculating hard. There was rumors that J.K. Simmons
He was at the premiere.
Ooh, I wonder why. And him and I were like, Pusha, no way that's gonna happen. That's what I said. I said, no way that's gonna happen. He was like, come on, Paul, you
Yeah.
said that with Civil War.
The flicker of hope that I had for J.K. Simmons' case was that Natalie Portman was at the Endgame premiere, and everyone was like, "Why is she there? She said she was done with Marvel."
I know.
But then, like, she was actually in the that was actually old footage though. But still, she recorded some new dialogue for Endgame. So, yeah.
I don't know.
So that was my flicker of hope for J.K. Simmons.
So what is it? A news blog now, or like a podcast?
I think it's supposed to be kind of like a parody of like Alex Jones and InfoWars and all that stuff.
Oh man, that hits too hard. Dang.
I mean, it's kind of that way in Spider-Man PS4 too.
Dang.
Yeah. He hasn't played Spider-Man PS4 yet, just on account of time.
Yeah, I haven't. I've had it since release. But man, life is hard. But, so no more newspapers. I mean, that makes sense.
It's
100%
pretty
makes
modern,
sense.
because I
That's
don't
pretty
know
modern.
who's, a handful of people probably still read newspapers.
Dude, I'm always gonna go back to Spectacular Spider-Man. That happened first. Season 2 of Spectacular Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Spoilers for Spectacular Spider-Man. Venom actually reveals his secret identity to the world, and he gives it to the Daily Bugle. And for like a whole 2 episodes, everyone's like, "Oh man, Peter Parker is Spider-Man." And the way they resolve that plot line in the show, I'm not gonna spoil that because you should watch that on your own. But that makes me think, how are they gonna resolve that in the movie?
People are like, please not one day more, please not one day more.
They're not gonna one day
No,
more.
no, I don't
Dan
think so.
Slott's out of here. No way they're gonna one day more. You're scaring me. Please make it not one day more.
I doubt that they'll do anything like that. I remember...
Did I have the physical copy of One Day More?
I remember when Hydra Cap happened, people were like, please don't do this MCU, please don't do this
But
MCU.
they did it, and
But
everyone
they did
loved it.
in a way that everyone loved it, yeah. But
No one's gonna love One Day More though, no matter what we do.
Back to what I was saying about JJ.
JK?
Yeah. It seems like they're setting him up to be a bigger threat to Spider-Man than he was in the Raimi films, I think.
Yeah.
Because in the Raimi films, he was just kind of like this little pest that like you never really took seriously.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it was originally in the comics too. He started as a little pest, but it just his sphere of influence just kept growing and growing, where he established himself as a dominant, prominent figure. And
Did he become the mayor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then stuff happens, and then One Day More happens. Anyway, but that's besides the point. I just really
I
want.
broke him.
Yeah. I can't forget that comic issue, man. I don't think
That's
anyone
one of the
can.
ones I actually have not read.
Good.
Okay, I'll keep it there.
I don't know, what else hit you hard here? What about the whole Nick Fury? I still don't understand it to this day. What was the point?
At first, I was like, ultimately watching it, I was kind of like, what is the point of Nick Fury being a Skrull?
Yeah.
Other than to set up whatever he's going to be doing in Phase 4. But it actually kind of, like looking back at it, it kind of added to the movie a little bit for me. Because, okay, first of all, I mean, it explains why Nick Fury wasn't on top of his game, because it wasn't the real Nick Fury.
Yeah.
But then...
That makes sense, too.
But then it also added this element of, okay, they didn't doubt Mysterio being from the multiverse, so do Skrulls know about the multiverse?
Holy cow!
Because,
like, right.
Marielle was like, no, they just believe Mysterio just because they're gullible. But then I thought about, like, no, that can't be it, because Skrulls are supposed to be way more advanced than we are. So wouldn't they know about the multiverse?
Dang. You may have a point there. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, that's something that kind of stuck with me.
Speaking of the multiverse, the minute Gyllenhaal's character Beck says, "Oh, I'm from the 616
Yes.
multiverse."
Yeah.
I was like, bullshit. No way, no, that's not true. No way, and no.
Yeah. Once he said 616, I was like, Marvel has officially designated the MCU as like 19999. I think it's like 5 nines.
Is it 5 nines?
I think it's 5 or 6 nines. I need to double check that.
And to those of the unaware, 616 is the OG.
The original comics universe, as created by the original guys, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, all those guys. And then what they did in 2001 was the Ultimate, and then in between there's just a bunch of alternate universes, and the MCU just happens to be one of those multiverses or universes. And
it was a good tongue-in-cheek, though, I'll give them that much.
Yeah, it was a good tongue-in-cheek. I thought, I mean, unless they wanted to retcon that, but I don't see them doing that.
Man, what a good movie.
Yeah. We've kind of talked about JJ.
Did they ever show the Oscorp Tower?
They did not. I was expecting that. I was really expecting that going into this movie. Okay, listen, people are saying, like, it could be the Baxter Building, because, Spider-Man has really good ties to the Fantastic Four. Yeah. But I really love the idea of it being Oscorp, because the Avengers Tower was just been the symbol of hope throughout the first couple phases of the MCU.
It needs a foil. There has to be
for it to become like the base of operations for like Spider-Man's big bad. That would be like if that became the base of operations for the Sinister Six. Like
that harks back to a OG comic line too, where Norman Osborn is in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
With the Secret Avengers.
Yeah. Like, I think that would be a really cool way to introduce Norman Osborn, to have it as this what was once the beacon of hope and light, and everything that was good in this universe is now kind of this evil, mysterious, corrupt place.
Okay, I have a question for you then. Where do we go from here? What villain comes next? From the many colorful characters of rogues that he has, what character... Are they going to take back some characters and redo Sandman or Venom?
I would love...
I guess they can't do Venom now.
Venom would be kind of weird.
They're probably going to try to shoehorn a tie with some of these Venom, right? But what other characters are coming? What other villains do you think is going to show up?
I have read a bunch of interesting articles and watched a couple different...
What? Stiltman.
I actually don't know Stiltman.
Good.
Okay.
So
I read a bunch of different articles and seen a couple different videos that, like, the Sinister Six, different members of the Sinister Six already exist within this universe, but we just haven't...
met them yet.
Yeah. Well, we kind of have, but they've just kind of been posed as throwaway characters. So before we go into who comes next, let's, again, revisit who's been established in this universe.
Okay.
So we've gotten... Vulture was the big one.
Yeah.
But also Tinker and Shocker were in Homecoming.
Yep.
And they're still at large.
That's true, too.
I've read... I don't know much about Drackle, but I know that his not alter ego, but I guess his civilian identity is something Warren.
Miles Warren.
Miles Warren. And he has a Professor Warren in Homecoming.
Whoa! Man, I should rewatch Homecoming. How do I not see all these characters?
Like, I don't think it was said specifically in Homecoming, but it was like tie-in material that named his professor as Warren. It's the teacher that comes in.
So Warren actually, I might be wrong on this, but I believe Warren has a brother, and it's the brother that does all the clones for the Clone Saga back in the day, and he's the one that turns into the Jackal. So
I don't think they would do Clone Saga in the MCU either. That sounds like another one.
They're gonna do Secret Invasion with the Skrulls, right? No, the Skrulls are good guys now, so they won't do that either.
I mean, you never know. I think Secret Invasion. I don't think they would like say, "Hey, this big element from Secret Invasion is in Far From Home." Like maybe the seeds of it, because like I thought back to a lot of things that they could tease and could have teased.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed there was no Oscorp, but then I thought back to it and I was like, it's not like they showed Thanos in Iron Man 1. Like, it was a really slow burn.
It was.
Yeah.
So when did he first come? Was it just in the original Avengers, was he teased?
It was just the original Avengers.
Damn.
The Infinity Gauntlet, I believe, was in the first Thor, but it wasn't the Infinity Gauntlet. It was just kind of like...
A throwaway gag?
Yeah, it was kind of
a
Easter egg throwaway thing. But yeah, so we've had Vulture... Oh, Prowler exists too.
Really?
Yeah, Donald Glover's character.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he says, I have a nephew that lives in this neighborhood.
No, he does?
Yeah, he does.
Is this in Homecoming?
Yeah, that's in Homecoming.
I gotta rewatch Homecoming, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching... I remember when I saw Homecoming, like, he said, I got a nephew that lives in this neighborhood, and I was like, oh my god! So, yeah, he exists. Tinker and Shocker exist. Jackal could potentially exist, and Mysterio... Even if Quentin Beck may or may not be dead, Mysterio still exists to some capacity.
Yeah. So who else would they go then? Would they do like Scorpion or?
Oh yeah, Scorpion exists too. He's in the prison with Vulture.
That's right. Dang. So how many is that then? Is that enough for 6?
I think that's probably more than enough. So I've written down Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio, Prowler. That's 4 plus Tinker and Shocker.
Tinker is not much of a Sinister Six guy. He's mostly like the equipment guy, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll definitely see. I mean, they could use any of the existing villains that already exist. They could throw us another one. Maybe the third one might be the Sinister Six coming together, and that final member is it.
We'll see from there. But dang. Okay. I know this is off topic, but I don't know if you want to save this for the end, but I want your timeline of your favorite Spider-Man movies from top to finish.
Ooh.
It might be a little harsh. Do you want me to go first?
You can go first, because you probably put more thought into this than I have.
So, for me, and by all means, nostalgia was included in making this list. So if you say, oh, he has nostalgia goggles on, 100% true, I do. I like this movie so much just for the Peter Parker character so much. It bumped it up so high. I think for me it goes Spider-Verse, then Far From Home. And then I would put OG Spider-Man 2, and then I would put Actually, hold on. I'm going to count Civil War as a Spider-Man movie. Even though it's Captain America Civil War, I'm counting it as a Spider-Man movie. It was Spider-Verse, Far From Home, Civil War, Spider-Man 2, Homecoming, OG Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 3, and then Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Actually, Spider-Man 3 shouldn't be that low. I actually really like that movie, but that's more of an ironic like.
I guess my lists... When I come up with lists, I always come up with a good top 3, and then I never bother.
It just dribbles down in the bottom.
Yeah, anything else after that can go wherever the heck it wants to. So, kind of going without Far From Home as of now, my top 3 for a long time. I guess not long time. I guess since December actually was Spider-Verse, Homecoming, Spider-Man 2, and then I would probably have said Amazing Spider-Man 1, and then Spider-Man, the OG Spider-Man 1. I just like the modern look of Amazing Spider-Man. I know I'm probably going to get flamed for that.
No, I liked it too. I really did too.
Yeah. I think Amazing did a pretty good job, and then Amazing 2 kind of went off the rails. And then Yeah, I'd say Spider-Man 3. It's not as awful as I remembered. I remember watching it in the lead up to Homecoming. Like, it's a fine movie.
Yeah.
And then Amazing Spider-Man 2, again, kind of like Spider-Man 3, has elements that do work, but it just never fully clicks and comes together. Like, I think if Amazing Spider-Man 2 just zeroed in on, like, one aspect, it could have been, like, a pretty solid movie.
I don't know, I think that's where we disagree. For me, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is nowhere near Spider-Man 3. I think Spider-Man 3 is, not a little better, I think it's a lot better. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I do have nostalgia glasses on. I really liked Spider-Man 3 back in the day.
There were, I mean, for me in Amazing Spider-Man 2, there were just, I liked, like, the romance was probably the most memorable thing. I applaud it for going the Gwen Stacy route.
But it can't save a whole movie, though.
Yeah, but it can't save the whole movie. Like, Sony really tried to get in Sinister Six, and I think they're still trying to. I read that the Sinister Six movie was canceled, but I don't know. I'm kind of holding out hope that maybe it's in a future MCU Spider-Man movie.
I saw it as a big cash grab, and I don't like that, Sony. Do better than... You did do better. You gave us Spider-Verse.
But, yeah, kind of including Far From Home in that list, I would say...
Yeah, where would you put it?
Probably...
It went to my number 1. I don't know.
Oh.
Actually, it went to my number 2. Spider-Verse is still number 1.
Probably on par with the original Spider-Man 2. I don't know if I'd put it before or after, but as of now, I'm going to say it's probably, like, tied with Spider-Man 2.
So it goes back to what we said in the very beginning of the movie. Spider-Man 2 was just slightly better than Spider-Man 2, but way better than Spider-Man 2. Okay, good.
Yeah, I definitely liked it. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm still kind of holding up Homecoming as one of my favorite Spider-Man movies.
That's actually pretty incredible. What stuck out so much in Homecoming for you?
I think it was just the freshness of Homecoming. I liked seeing him, like, integrated into the universe, first of all, and then the tone of Homecoming felt a little more even, like John Hughes meets superhero. I think, okay, to Far From Home's credit, it had the balance of trying to be a Homecoming sequel and an Endgame sequel.
Yeah, that was pretty hard. I don't know how they balanced that line, but they did.
So I think as of now, I'm saying, maybe it's just because I've seen Homecoming so often. I think out of all my MCU Blu-rays, the first Avengers and Homecoming get the most playtime.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
The first Avenger too? I don't know.
Oh, not the first Avenger. The first Avengers.
Oh, okay. I think meant Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yeah.
That hasn't aged that well. I saw it again recently.
Really, I think it's a solid.
It's a good movie. It's better than Thor movies. Heck, I like it better than some Iron Mans. No one talks about Hulk. When are we gonna? Wait, didn't they say we're never getting a standalone Hulk movie?
Because the rights to that are just so weird and tied up. I guess this kind of concludes the Spidey. I guess we're just kind of segueing into Marvel in general now. And I guess Spidey's place within the Marvel universe too.
Okay, really fast then. Top Marvel movies to the bottom.
Oh, God.
Only MCU.
Only MCU? I haven't even thought about that. Because it shifts all the time, but I can give you... Okay. I don't even know if I can give you my top 3.
Give me top 5.
The last time I thought about this was last year, and like this was when I say last year, it was before Infinity War even came out.
Dude.
I think I made a note about it because my roommates at the time kept asking me, or one of my roommates, Milan,
we need to judge with list.
We need to judge. Okay.
I gotta judge your taste because I have bad taste. Let the internet know. I enjoy Arrowhead water, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. You don't have to listen to any of my opinions.
I found a note I made from this year called... Oh, no, that's not really... It was a Far From Home theory. I thought, like, just because I read Mysterio's first appearance where he tried to frame Spider-Man, I thought he was going to try to frame Spider-Man in that Europe does not like Spider-Man, but I guess that was kind of true, and now the world kind of doesn't like Spider-Man.
Which makes sense. It's pretty good. I don't know. For me, I'd say Far From Home... number 1 MCU movie.
Okay.
And then its second place is, I think it's still a tie between Infinity War or Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is really high up for me.
Winter Soldier. I just found my list and I stopped after 7.
Because you couldn't go that far.
Yeah, I think this is something I was doing like as I was trying to put myself to sleep, and I just like.
As long as Winter Soldier is top 3, is it? What does that list say then? At least.
Okay, let me see. I last updated this March 20th, 2018.
Okay.
So it was Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, Black Panther. 4 was Homecoming, then Civil War, Guardians 2, then Ragnarok. But I think even in that list, some things have kind of switched around. I think Homecoming remained my top 3 after that.
Nice.
I need to update this.
That might be a video for another time.
Yeah,
that's a big list.
This is, yeah.
How many movies are there?
It's like 23 as of Far From Home. I should do that soon because, like, maybe before Phase 4 even starts.
Well, I think you have time. I'm not sure. Well, then again, Comic-Con might reveal more, but I don't think Phase 4 is coming anytime soon.
It's probably going to be next year, if anything.
Hey, is this the first time we're going to be like in a Marvel movie drought?
I think so.
Where are they, at least pumping 2 movies per year or what? More than that, right?
It was started as 2, then went to 3.
A year?
I heard next year they're going to go back to 2, which makes sense, you know, just kind of coming off the big achievement. And then they'll probably go back up to 3. Who knows, but...
Dang. All right. What last quick nerd Far From Home stuff that really got your nerd out? What scenes?
Oh,
I
don't even think we talked about the hallway scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we totally overlooked that.
I know. Oh. I don't know. You nerd out and then I'll join and I'll nerd out.
Yeah, I just got chills watching that. It felt like, seeing that happen, it felt like a big shut up to anyone who said, this Spider-Man's not a legit Spider-Man because he doesn't have a spider sense or it's really inconsistent. It felt like they were just like, okay, shut up. We gave it to you. Here it is.
I mean, they always tease the spider sense.
They did always tease it.
Infinity War, it was like
the hairs. I think
in OG Civil War, he's talking.
He has a line about it.
Yeah. And then during the fight with, again, Falcon and Winter Soldier, he's talking Falcon, and he goes, oh no! Well, like, Winter Soldier throws, like, a giant car at him or something like that.
Yeah.
They did it so beautifully well. It actually harks back to... Oh my gosh. Shut up, I know. But it's Spectacular Spider-Man. One of the first fights he has with Mysterio in that show, they actually made a cheesy Star Wars joke. You probably
really?
Yeah, you probably would have liked it. He's talking about, Liz Allen's like, magicians are all about like misdirection. So don't focus on the illusion, just focus on something else. So to fight Mysterio, he actually like webs up his eyes with like a blindfold, and he goes, may the spider sense be with me. Like it was like, I don't know, something about the Force. It was a runaway joke gag, okay? But he's blindfolded, and what they did in the show is they gave him kind of like Daredevil vision, where he sees nothing, but he can sense. He could technically see everything with like this infrared vision. So he only sees the threats and he can't see anything else. And I love that they did that in this movie. Yeah. Where he just ignored everything else and just trusted his spider sense to know what was real or not. And then the final shot where Mysterio has a gun to him.
And he just like grabs his arm.
And the audience doesn't even see that. He just grabs out of nowhere.
Yeah, he grabs it and I was like, what did he just grab? And then like...
It gets revealed. Yeah. Oh, I nerded so hard during that.
And I think that's, like, going back to my comments about watching him grow into the Spider-Man we know, like, that was a huge part in where, like, okay, this is Spider-Man.
The Peter tingle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they could have, like, cut back on, like, calling it Peter Tingle, like, maybe one time, but... At the same time, I know that...
Yeah, they kind of pushed the joke.
At the same time, I know that, like, spider sense is so, like, on the nose and everyone knows what it's called anyway.
And let's be honest, the MCU Spider-Man are no longer on the nose. When have they ever said, with great power comes great responsibility?
No, they have not. But he did say responsibility in this movie.
That's true. That was the first time he's ever said that word.
Yeah, that's the first time he's not danced around that word.
It's like what they did in Spider-Verse. Come on, Peter, with great power comes...
Don't you dare finish that sentence! I guess for the future, I would love to see Tom Holland make a cameo in the Spider-Verse sequel.
I read somewhere that him and what's his name? Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Oh,
Tobey Maguire?
Tobey Maguire. I heard that they were going to cameo. Him and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, but I guess it didn't work out at the time. But, that kind of goes into what I was going to... That interesting thing I was going to talk about that I heard.
Pizza time.
We should have gotten a pizza for this just to make it even more... The next one.
Spider-Man 2.
But what I heard was that if this movie does not cross $1 billion... Sony will back out of the deal. I don't know how accurate that is.
Well, where do we stand?
I stand at let's go see this movie as many times as we possibly can.
I mean, like, how much, where are we at right now? Box office wise then?
I think it was like something like 600 million, I want to say. Yeah, well, excuse us as we look it up real quick.
Dang, but really they're gonna back out?
That's something I heard. I thought it was fake when I heard it.
Freaking Sony.
I thought it was fake when I heard it, but then I kind of, going back to my comments about Tom Holland saying he has 6 movies and Kevin Feige saying they've got Spider-Man for 5.
Wait a minute. Civil War.
2
Avengers.
Homecoming.
2 Avengers.
Infinity War, Endgame, and Far From Home.
That's it!
Yeah.
That's fine! So if this didn't make enough, of course they're not gonna buy more movies.
Yeah, so I'm checking it out right now. Hold on, box.
Dude, imagine it doesn't. Imagine Sony pulls it, because Sony.
Here we go.
Sony doesn't have a good track record.
Spider-Man: Far From Home repeats at number 1, nearing $850 million worldwide. This is from Box Office Mojo 2 days ago. So I think as of now we're kind of in a good standing.
It's usually the overseas that does pretty well too. Yeah, that's usually where the spike of sales go through.
And one of the things that I read or saw about it said Kevin Feige positioned this movie to do that well, and he did it from such a smart business move and creative move by having this be the tail end of Phase 3 to say like, oh, this is your first glimpse at the post-Endgame world.
That's true. That probably helped way more than Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Was advertisement for this movie even well done?
I don't know.
Didn't Nick Fury get mad because the eye patch was on the wrong side in that one poster?
Oh yeah, but I mean that's just the kind of a nitpicky thing. I mean,
or was it because he was a Skrull the whole time?
Were they?
Nah, they just messed up.
Just mess up.
I think they just messed up.
I don't know. I've seen the movie advertised on like Dr. Pepper cans, and then I just went to LAX this weekend. There's a giant poster when you get there that says "Fly with" what's the airline in the movie? I forget what it is.
I know what it is too.
But I forgot the airline, but I remember seeing Spider-Man.
The movie, so maybe it did do something right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, closing thoughts. Overall, what do you think then?
Overall, I did enjoy this movie. I loved it a lot. I can't wait to see it again, just to boost it to $1 billion, just to say screw you, Sony.
Yeah, screw you, Sony. I'm just kidding, please. I love you.
Please re-up the deal.
Give us Spider-Verse tied into MCU.
That would be a great way to tie it.
Oh man. Yeah. So back in high school, him and I always said, just messing around during a free period. I'm calling student body a free period.
Yeah, it basically was.
Wow, that new X-Men's coming out. Wow, Amazing Spider-Man 2's coming out. Imagine if they put Spider-Man in the MCU. That'll never happen, but that'll be my dream come true. And it happened.
Yeah.
It happened. The unthinkable happened, so who knows?
And one of the comic storylines we always went back to specifically for Spider-Man in the MCU was Civil War.
Yeah, because he was such a prominent figure, at least in the beginning.
And then I remember, because you had moved to SLO when they made the announcement, and I remember getting a call from you on my birthday, because they announced it pretty closely to my birthday. After the happy birthdays,
Dude, I was freaking out!
He said something like, how are they going to do Civil War without Spider-Man? Because they hadn't announced that yet.
They hadn't announced it yet.
And then a couple months later, it happened. So...
And it was really well done. They made Aunt May hot. Oh man, Hoagie got... Poor Hoagie! He got friend-zoned.
Yeah. I don't know, do you have any other thoughts about it?
I think Zendaya was really well... She was an amazing MJ. Everyone was always skeptical at the beginning.
Yeah.
Heck, people will always be skeptical about what creative direction they push it. How do they modernize these beloved characters? Because a lot of them, sadly enough, they don't age well.
Yeah.
From the 60s, from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Steve can't always be punching Hitler in the jaw. Something has to change about that, especially in this day and age. But I think what they've been doing, the creative movement they've been trying to push, and where they taking it, was really well done. Her character was really well done.
Yeah.
She portrayed it really well.
I know everyone's upset about, like, oh, she's not a redhead, but I feel like if she actually was a redhead, then, like, she would have just been compared to...
It's always going to be compared.
Yeah, but then she would have been compared
OGs.
even more, like, by not making her a redhead and doing this whole race lift thing, like, that makes her stand out on her own.
And she did. She really brought the character out to her own, and I thought it was really well done. And let's be honest, people are always going to compare. Yes, I'm talking to you guys. You're going to compare it to the source material. Comics, comic storylines, OG Sam Raimi movies, OG movies, TV shows, etc. Sometimes you have to realize what the medium is. If you look at this as a standalone Spider-Man movie, ignoring from the MCU, which is hard, especially with this movie, a lot of the character dynamics just really meshed well together. Sure, there is cheesy Marvel writing sprinkled in here and there, but that's not anyone's fault. That was just because it was popularized back in Guardians, right?
Yeah.
I think Guardians is what really pushed this kind of writing style.
I would probably even argue maybe the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, the first Avengers had like,
it was really
some
quippy. It was really the Joss Whedon quippy type thing, and then like they kind of kept doing it, and then they like turned it up a little bit more.
They turned it up to 10 for Guardians, and I don't think it has slowed down since. Not that it's a bad thing, but I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. But as a standalone medium, it's just a really good Spider-Man film. It really covers a lot of what this character is. And if I could be controversial for a little bit, people are always asking, what if we make Spider-Man a certain other way or change his character a certain way? And I think that's honestly fine. If they want to bring Spider-Man to different elements that's never been seen before, that's perfectly fine as long as they balance what makes him Spider-Man in the first place. And to me, he could be anyone as long as he has that Parker look. And that's why I always found him so relatable growing up. Heck, look at me, I'm Latino. Heck, I might have Spider-Man 2099, that's besides the point. But I always saw myself in that character because of that Parker look consistency. And striving and being hard on yourself. Striving to be better even though it's putting yourself down in the process. I don't know. That flawed character of Spider-Man is what I love so much about it, and I think they did that 100% well in this movie. Okay, I'm done nerding now.
Alright, so those are your final thoughts?
Yes.
Alright, so with all that said, I guess we will see you real soon. And
before we go, I have a surprise for this guy.
I was away. Doing this on screen.
I'm going to do this on screen.
Okay.
So I was away at Anime Expo this year, and I saw these couple of pins that I knew immediately what he will love.
Okay.
And he doesn't know what they are.
Okay.
But they're really good. So, his first reaction right here.
Okay.
Okay. Here's the first one.
Okay. What is this? Oh, cool! It's like a little Spider-Man like suitcase and like roller bag
thing. That'll
probably.
But
be
that's
better.
for Far From Home, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man suitcase.
It's even like the same spider emblem.
And I don't know if you could see it, but like the suitcase belt strap, they close suitcase.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
It's like a mini Iron Man arc reactor. Okay. Yeah. Okay, here's the next one.
Okay.
This one might be a different reaction.
It's a cheeseburger that says "I love you 3000" and the O is an arc reactor. And I'll do that same thing again.
I love you 3000. And here's my personal favorite. I hope he likes this one. Again, these are all.
There's a third one.
There's a third one. This is all different reactions. Watch this reaction.
This is a cap one.
I don't know if you could show that word.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cover that second word with my finger. If you've seen the movie, or you know what, everyone who's watching this has probably seen the movie. I'm just gonna go ahead and So.
Yeah, I thought they screamed you.
Yeah,
Sorry about all of this.
And the backing is like the Quantum Realm suits too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But with all of that, I guess we will see you real soon. Enough said.
Enough said.
And Excelsior, true believers.
See you around.